Hi, this is Monday, November the 25th. It is about 9 a.m. in the UK, so the market makers are back at the desk pricing options. But unfortunately, as you can see, I'm starting today with Russell. This is the baby rhino that I started on Friday, and we don't have any pricing. This is the closing prices for Russell. So this one is doing okay and set up as of Friday, but let's look at now for today. The 1SD is okay in between the horns. That said, volatility is low, so we must take that not as an essential parameter, but if we look at 1SD, we would be losing a bit here, making a bit there on the downside. So there's typically a small weakness on the upside, but if we look at the close, we have a strong Vega, so V over T will have to be adjusted probably just after the open. The last baby rhino, so the last baby rhino did very well. I closed for about $400, $390 to be exact. So this one did well. We did very little to this trade. This is the input, and then maybe just a few adjustments here. But really, if you look at the details of the adjustment, it was basically protecting profit, so closing part of the trade before its due exit. And as you can see, when I closed on Friday, there was only one broken binfly left in one call calendar. Typically, I like to keep a balance between the core combo and the hedges. If the market is a bit bearish, I will swap call calendars for put calendars somewhere in between the shorts and the lower longs. So, but if you need any help with the baby rhino, just contact me on Slack and I will help you there. Right, so this was a little aside. The more important trades are on the SPX. So this is the December trade. This is my regular trade, which is a trade that so this is a trade that's very much based on the Rhino. It is a Rhino, but on which I allow myself the liberty sometimes to add some small layers, and by extension, a little bit more flexibility on the hedging on the upside or downside. So this trade is probably good to close. Today we are 25 DTE. This end of week 21 DTE target will be 1500. There's no chance whatsoever to get to more than 1500. 1500 would be possible if we had a pullback by end of the week, but quite a serious one, probably like 120, 140 points. And if I look at the expectancy of this happening, as you can see, it's quite minimal. I mean, 2 SD would already be about 30, 50, so we'd need 3, 4 SDs. That can happen to have a 3, 4 sigma. The Vega is about flat, and if we were to lose 2, 3, or 4 sigma, the Vega would still be okay. So we could keep this trade almost like a wild card market, dropping, let's say, 120, 140 points within a week or two. So there's no urgency to close it. We're not into a capital constraint in terms of usage, so basically nothing to do here. I did a small adjustment last week, basically to a trade simplification. We only have only 4 strikes left, so this trade would be simple to close. About the B2B, the more classical standard Rhino, also doing okay. It's been lagging a bit, and it's essentially the problem of having a simpler trade without any additional layers and simpler rules. So this one had quite little, so it was basically an entry and scaling in. Nothing really essential here, and I could repeat about the same. We have only 4 strikes left here, and we could close the trade at any time. So let's move on to January. The January trade is, I mean, I've been waiting for some key level to be firmly tested, and which is 31.25, and I invite you to watch the SPX Outlook video if you want to know more about the rationale being that key level. Of course, in this region, this bullish congestion is not conducive to anything good, because we have so little theta here, So I could repeat about the same as I did for the December trade. That is, this trade would actually do quite well if SPX was to get back into the tens. That said, with only about $700 potential loss, and there is 53 DTE left into the trade. The trade now is, after 56 DTE, reaching what I usually call the cruising altitude, where you know more or less where your trade is going to get to. So this is not going to be a great month. So it's a matter now of controlling delta, controlling the skew, and getting to at least avoid any loss on the upside. And this is something that can be done. We're only losing about $200 with a maximum of $700. And if you look at about $5 here on the reverse Harvey, there's not much risk here. So probably some minor adjustment in terms of reducing exposure. There's only 10K in the market right now, or adding just an additional layer closer to the money. So now if we look at adding a small layer about here, this is something that can certainly be done. It does double the Vega exposure, but that's still quite possible. And of course, waiting for an event that doesn't want to come around, that is the market deciding on a direction on 31.25. This is something that can be done now. This smaller combo should cost next to nothing, or even bring in a tiny credit. So it's about $15 here. So this is typical of a small layer to add to the trade. Plus minus zero, $15 is nothing. And as you can see, it does not rock the boat either in terms of the Greeks. So this is something that can be added to the trade. Generally, if you are in a low IV environment, reduce the wing size of your additional layers. Now, if you are more bullish, you can of course go for a PCS, which is a quite a classical type of adjustment. But I would think that if you want to stick to the philosophy of the trade, which is flat delta of a large to very large range, this is more in line with the Rhino philosophy. So this is something that we can do. You can go slightly more bearish if you think that you want to absolutely get a credit here. It will not make much of a difference. In fact, the Greeks will be similar. We just add a bit of theta. We extend the sweet spot a little bit. And of course, we have now more strikes to play with in terms of lifting the upside expiration line, which we call the UEL. So this is a layer, so either placed on upper longs on 3100 or 3125, and that would be fine. Of course, this is not something that is available in the B2B trade. The B2B trade is typically handled with PCS and PCS rolls. Generally, we do, in terms of mutation to RTT style trade, we apply PCSs on the upper longs. That's quite possible generally, and that's the key difference with the RTT, is I don't allow the trade to go delta positive, so I would probably go for a short condor type of trade. That will still yield about 5 minus 2, $300. We would get the upper extension line at about 600. It is quite reasonable. The sweet spot or profit area is still good, so this is something I would do. So it's just a matter of making the trade simpler to manage. Note that this trade, the way it's been constructed and managed since inception, although the two trades look quite similar in terms of adjustments, I mean, they went apart because of the unavailability of or less flexibility in the adjustments available at our disposal. But the theta is higher and the Vega is higher than with a regular trade. So whichever variant you feel more confident with, always keep in mind that you must be very consistent in your Greeks management. So this is more something that we would do for the BTB trade. Okay, that's it for now. There's not much else to say about this. So expect a little bit of work later today, Monday. No sweat. The thing that I regret is that for people who, because I know there are a few, we have joined recently, and there's one more guy coming for the February entry in less than a couple of weeks, is that it's not going to be an easy trade or easy entry if the same environment is the same low IV environment sticks to the holiday season. That said, because I'm going to close December soon, there's not much money into the market. The good thing is that we, unlike 2017, we have no capital constraints. So if the market was to reverse sharply, we would, of course, have a better entry on February, and we can do a lot in terms of adding at the back of this trade additional layers if necessary. So no sweat, no real complication. I just hope we will get a good vol pop by early December. Okay, thanks for watching and bye for now.